Hello, my name is Mark Schwingle from the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. My work focuses primarily on gifted and talented education for the department, and I'm excited to be here today. Let's start with a thank you. I sincerely appreciate the WATG conference planners for allowing me to share in this special event. This year's Leading the World into the Future WATG conference, as always, provides a wonderful opportunity to learn more about the ways in which our work, our collective work, I might add, can better serve all students in our state. I've been pondering WATG's Leading the World into the Future theme since it was announced and was trying to wrap my mind around what that might mean for my work and our shared work too. Here's what I would say. It's easy to get overwhelmed in this work. I feel like we are always pushing or being pushed to do more and do it better. Sometimes that push is warranted and can be a great thing, actually. Other times it seems like one more thing. Many of you have heard me opine on that idea of one more thing. Just one more thing in a long list of to-dos that are also critically important. That's fair. Balance is needed. Please know that I want you to feel supported. I want to give you opportunities to network, to learn together, to read together, and to share your opinions. We have done these things, and there will be more of that to come. However, if you are like me, it still feels inadequate. I want to show you some things that I feel may help, at least a smidge, when you, or more accurately, we, are having those feelings. Stay with me here because this may not make much sense initially. My husband and I just spent a week in northeastern Wisconsin, and one of the things we love to do is to visit or often revisit waterfalls so we can see and hear and feel the wonders of nature. Here are a few pictures. And I promise I'm not attempting to show off my camera skills since frankly, I have none. That said, I do certainly appreciate my iPhone's capability. And it was a beautiful time of year to be there. So that's always very exciting. And I always throw in a black and white because I enjoy that too. Anyway, I'm a bit off track here, but what I was going to say is we love to explore as many waterfalls as we can. Last year, we saw 4 new ones. This year, we saw 2 more new ones and revisited a couple that we liked from last year. It was great. But as I was looking at this particular waterfall, I had a wondering, what might this beauty teach us? So here's what I'm talking about. If we look at different portions of this picture, we can see the power of this water. So I'll put my cursor over this, and this may not be easy for you to see, but in the middle here, there's kind of just a small little stream. And what I think is that one kind of represents me a little bit. But if we go over here and we look at this part, it's easy to see that that's bigger, and that actually kind of represents a small group of us. Now this part over here is the biggest yet, and it's hard to actually see it very well. But believe me when I say it is definitely the biggest. And that's really exciting because that feels like there's a big group of us doing this work. What if we put all 3 together though? I guess that's one of my questions. It would be even more powerful, right? It might look like this. So it might look like that, just thinking about all the different water that's coming down. And what I want to say is that this waterfall, actually, the one that's on the screen right now, was downstream from a constructed dam. The dam is harnessing the water so that more or less might come out. There's even a siren and signage that tells us if we need to move away from the falls quickly. I haven't quite figured out how to decipher what exactly that means in this context, or at least not yet. But it feels to me like we need to let more water through the dam right now so that together we can do more for kids. Put differently, we need to work together to help in our part of making Leading the World into the Future theme a reality. I know I'm up for the challenge, and I hope you are too. All that said, the main reason I'm here today is that it is my distinct pleasure to share State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underley's Gifted Education Proclamation. I will read that in just a second. Just a hint though, when I say I, as I read it, that's actually referring to Dr. Underley, not me personally. I suppose you would have figured that out without me even telling you, but it's always the part where I get a bit tripped up. So I'm setting expectations up front. So I want to actually go to the next screen. Whoops. And I'm going to escape for a second, and we're going to pull up the proclamation here so that I can read it, and we can then pass this off to Cathy. So, State of Wisconsin, Department of Public Instruction Proclamation. Whereas we are all responsible for the future we collectively create, all students with intellectual, academic, creative, leadership, and artistic gifts and talents are an often untapped resource who must be appropriately identified, instructed, and supported so that they too can help co-create our future. And whereas just as giftedness comes in a variety of domains, it has no limits related to age, race, ethnicity, national origin, economic status, sex, gender identity or gender expression, sexual orientation, religion, multilingualism, or ability. And whereas collaboration between students, families, school district staff, organizations, community members, and nations serve as a critical foundation for supporting every high ability, high potential child every day. And whereas the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction joins the leadership of the Wisconsin Association for Talented and Gifted, the Wisconsin Center for Academically Talented Youth, the Wisconsin Association of School District Administrators, the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, the Association of Wisconsin School Administrators, the Wisconsin Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, the Wisconsin RTI Center, and the Cooperative Educational Services Agencies, as we work together to support Wisconsin's children with gifts and talents. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Dr. Jill Underley, State Superintendent of Public Instruction, declare in the state of Wisconsin Gifted Education Month, Leading the World into the Future, October 1 through October 31st, 2021. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. And now that we've read this, Cathy had this great idea about handing off the proclamation. So if we were in person, we would just be standing next to each other, you know? We're not, as you might have already imagined. So she had this great idea about handing off the proclamation by doing like some sort of message in a bottle type thing. And I totally supported that, but I said, maybe we could use a mason jar instead, since it is canning time. So mason jar it is. It's a bit hard to see, I'm sure, but I'm going to attempt to hand this over to Cathy, and she's going to grab it in just a moment.
Thank you.
So Cathy, I think you had some ideas about this idea of canning that might also be apropos. So do you care to share?
I would love to share. First of all, thank you, Mark, and thank you, Dr. Underley, for setting aside the month of October as Gifted Education Month. Your efforts to preserve October in order to help us raise awareness for gifted education helps ensure the continuing efforts for differentiation for Wisconsin's pint-sized students and beyond. Another reason for the metaphor of the canning jar is useful today is that it represents the constant challenges and successes of being involved in gifted education. Part of our role as educators, mentors, advocates, and more is to help create the optimal environment for student success. The art of canning does not begin in the kitchen, but rather months before in the sowing of seeds and the tilling of soil. Similarly, gifted education doesn't simply begin now or in the future. It is a process that begins today as we help plant the seeds in school districts across the state to help cultivate better environments for learning. Students must be tended to throughout their schooling, much like the fruit that grows on the vine or is produced in the fields. This careful tending and attention to the students of all abilities helps create skills and passions that will last indefinitely. By equipping students with the necessary tools to thrive in school, their personal lives and beyond, we are helping lead the world into the future. And as a result, we are helping lead the future confidently out into the world. Thank you so much, Mark, for taking this time to be with us with WATG, and for all of the support, the ongoing forever support that we get from you and DPI. We truly appreciate that.
Absolutely. Glad I could be here today.
Thank you. Please enjoy the rest of the conference.